What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what is causing this craziness, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is in the red, 0.23%, 1269 the low, 1321 the high, and 3.1 million shares being traded. So relatively low volume. As far as macro data, today was more of a Fed speaker, and I think out of them all, 𝗪𝗧𝗪 was kind of the more notable one. And even as far as that though, it was all over the place. So initially they were saying that there was going to be numerous cuts, more than what was forecasted in 2026. And then you have them pivot saying that the Feds are going to maintain independence, so monetary policy can be set without political interference. Which, of course, they're saying that, meaning that most likely, don't anticipate one in January. That's how I'm interpreting this. So all over the place. You do have also the market very fearful over a potential government shutdown that might be coming January 31st, 2026, even though we kind of just had one. So right now there is a 43, and I think actually it's now 47. So we have a 47% probability of that occurring. So that's kind of some of the things that's really affecting the broader market. Over and above, recently you did have Oracle, and then as well today, or after hours yesterday, Broadcom. That's causing some ripples across the AI and tech sectors. Luckily enough, Lucid did move higher, and that was because of Rivian. Had nothing to do with Lucid, so Lucid hasn't really put out any news. No SEC filings as of today. Last SEC filings, which actually I don't think I did bring up in a previous video yet, was a couple of 404s, and it was just a bunch of individuals selling. It is all for transaction code F, so that is for tax purposes, so I'm not really concerned over those. So you had Mark selling, Gagnon, and then Tawfiq. So nothing really crazy, like I said. But when it came down to it though, Lucid did move higher because of Rivian. So that's kind of boosting the whole sector. Although I do feel, coming from a Lucid investor standpoint, like that is a little bit more of a wake-up call. Because I think ever since I started investing and covering Lucid, Lucid's always been kind of telling us that they're the best tech out there, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. Rivian has been quietly working quite hard behind the scenes. And so the news that they did drop yesterday was pretty epic. So they are pivoting. So they didn't follow Lucid's path. They pivoted away from NVIDIA, and they're going to be building stuff in-house, which is rather odd because Lucid always had that mentality of in-house only. So the fact that Lucid kind of went towards NVIDIA for higher levels of autonomous driving, whereas Rivian is doing it themselves, very interesting. And so ultimately, Rivian is going to be putting out their R2 faster than Lucid. So they're going to be putting out at the beginning of 2026. Price point, I think it's estimated to be about 45,000. So yeah, Rivian is going to be quite a big contender in the broader market. So initially, yesterday you did have some hesitation, but analysts are starting to kind of warm up to the idea, and that's why Rivian is up right now about 14.67%. So Lucid was able to piggyback off of that, but still, again, this should be seen as a slap in the face to management to wake the hell up and do not underline this. Like, there cannot be any errors with the midsize. If they somehow mess up because of some stupid supply chain issue or whatever else, that's just going to be detrimental to the stock price. So that's kind of what is affecting Lucid all in all. When it comes to shorts, right now they are returning 602,000 shares. So I like to interpret this. So of course, by shorts returning, kind of signals that shorts don't feel like this red day is justified. They did update, so Ortex did update behind the scenes, I guess, how they coded the PIF shares. So right now it is back to that 33%, not that 14. So 33.15% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 43.2 million shares overall being shorted. So crazy stuff. So the all-time high short interest is 34.65. So we are very close to that. So interesting to see kind of how things turned out for that. DTC being at 4.89 days does really signal that shorts are very overextended. Looking at the options, 350,000 in calls, 326,000 in puts, so very low volume, matching with the common stock. 48% of all the options being done though today are bearish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 1350 to 14. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub kind of 12 to 1250 for the most part. With today actually being Friday, just to go back over here, this is some of the open interest. So with us at 1281 or 1280 and change. So that does mean that the 1250 and below strike prices are technically in the money, but you see chump change. So no gamma squeeze, nothing along those lines. So far, only one transaction occurring on the secondary market above $100,000, and it is a sell for 522. So big money's not really doing much with Lucid. So as per usual, AI and algos are really moving Lucid based on, again, broader market fears as well as Rivian. But these are some of the transactions occurring on the dark pool. And so given how active shorts are, it is fair to assume that all of these are linked to them. Aside from that, with it at 1280, trading between this pivot and this S1. So 1267 and then 1337 is going to be the next strong target slash resistance points. And yeah, it kind of bounced off this S1, so this 1267 is a strong support. So something, again, just to kind of keep in mind, aside from all of that fun stuff on the actual chart itself. So as of right now, we're seeing a lot of volatility, but it is still below that 10-day moving average. So how I anticipated this week to go was more closer to this 50-day moving average. So I was very wrong as far as prediction for this week, but it all came down to, I guess, just us not being able to really continue the good momentum that was kind of starting to be built last week. So yeah, clearly just AI is really driving Lucid up, down, sideways, all over the place. So hopefully going into next week, we'll kind of quash all that fear. Stay tuned for my video over the weekend where I go over some expectations and kind of things to watch for. There really hasn't been that much change to the market position versus yesterday, so same level of kind of strong bids and asks and so forth. There really hasn't been that much in kind of articles or anything. You see a lot of people now comparing Lucid's Uber Alliance versus Rivian's AI turn. So again, there is going to be some competition, and what Peter loved to say is that this is a tech race, and yeah, I think that's 100% accurate. Tesla, luckily enough, they have massive market share, so they don't really need to do too much, but Rivian is definitely building a strong base to really kind of push higher. I did a video on Rivian yesterday, so if you are curious on some of the data points, pop over there and take a look. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With that said, appreciate all of you watching.